This is the narcissist without supply. Think about that for a minute. So you're now learning not only about narcissism and about empathy and mindset, but you're learning about supply. You now know that supply isn't just paper towels or gas in your car. Supply is what you were. And supply is the fuel for the narcissist. And when the narcissist doesn't have supply, specifically in a human form, then they are in hot water. Now, this is why the narcissist continues to search the planet for supply sources. And they have multiple supply sources on the hook at any one point, because if any one of those supply sources wises up and discards the narcissist or removes themselves, or if they get discarded or get too close to figuring out who the narcissist is, then the narcissist can insert another person. That's why you thought in the beginning of that relationship that you became a part of, you thought it was just you in the relationship. It was anything but just you, but that was your experience. That's why everybody else, fringe people, people that you didn't even know, like waiters, or the strange people that the narcissist would invite over to your house, or all the weird high school friends, or all the groupies, or the flying money. That's why all those people were given more credit than you were. The reason why is because they weren't necessarily in the trauma bond the way you were, and they weren't giving as much as you were giving to the narcissist, and they didn't have the same level of supply that you had. That's why you were targeted. So again, I shared this in yesterday's video. When you were dating or first meeting the narcissist, you didn't know what narcissism was. You weren't taught this in school. Number two, you most likely were an open book. The next thing is you had a high level of empathy, and you probably were wearing your heart on your sleeve, and you probably were telling this person who turned out to be toxic everything about you. Well, when you did that, they said, winner, ding, 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 this person's going to be just fine. They have a lot of money, they have time, they have no idea who I am, they don't know narcissism, they're committed, and they can love and empathy if I didn't say those two things. So I'll sink my dirty fangs into this person, which was you, and it definitely was me, and I'll take whatever I can from them. But while I'm stealing every bit of energy, I'm acting like the narcissist, and I'm not. Well, I'm stealing everything from the person, which was you, and it was me. I'm still going to continue to groom and vet other people, because when this person is used up from supply, meaning you, then I'm going to discard them and I'm going to get a new source. Think about it. When you were a kid, what did you have? You had those little juice boxes, remember? With your, in the Superman or the Barbie lunchbox that you used to have? Yeah, lunch boxes. Remember those things with the thermos? Going old school on you here. Well, in those lunch boxes, you had the little juice box. And when you finished the juice box, you said, hey, I want another juice box, give me another one. Well, that's supply for the narcissist. No, you're not the narcissist. At least that's not my hope. And if you are the narcissist, please leave. You're not welcome here. But having said that, when supply, this is what the narcissist does without supply. They have to scour, slither. They have to begin really working, which is what the narcissist doesn't want to do. The last thing on the planet the narcissist wants to do is have to work. What they want is they want people doing things for them. They want people working for them. That's why I coined that phrase in 2021 called the unpaid helper. What the unpaid helper is, it's a person who's doing everything for the narcissist, and they're getting punished for doing it. They're not on an equal footing with the narcissist. They're not in a loving, healthy, stable, reciprocal two-way relationship. They're getting peppered, inundated with toxicity day in and day out. And these people, and I was one of them, eventually they have nothing left in the tank to give because their supply has gone to zero. Their health has taken a hit, their money is gone, their friends and their relationships have all blown up, they're not exercising any longer. Maybe they have now partaken in some new vices that the narcissist turned them on to because this person, which perhaps was you, they wanted to assimilate themselves with the narcissist. So this is what happens. The closer you get to the narcissist, the more the toxicity oozes into your veins. The closer you get to them, the more they control your mind. The closer you get to them, the less clear your mind gets. The closer you get to them, the more the spell is cast upon you, and the more the charm is shown to you, and the more the punishment is administered. And not everybody can see what narcissism is. It's not until you get too close to one of these people, and then you get discarded, or something, you lost your money or you lost your house or something, that it affected you. And when that happened, that's when you did the deep dive and looked into narcissism. Most people will never know what narcissism is. Most people just think, oh, whatever, it's a big deal, just get over it. Who cares? You lost a couple dollars, or so what? Someone broke your heart, move on. Well, it's not like that. It's because everything boils down to supply for the narcissist. So as I was sharing in the thumbnail in the beginning, this is what the narcissist does without supply. What they have to do when they literally don't have anyone to put a roof over their head, to pay their bills, to change their diapers, I am being facetious there, and to be there to listen to them and to put out the fires and to steer them and to emotionally regulate them. And I left out about 500 things there. But when they don't have somebody like that, then the narcissist has to do something that they don't want to do. And I can assure you, you've never heard this in a video from me or elsewhere. They have to turn on their own generator. And what is a generator? Well, think about it. Maybe you were in a natural catastrophe, an earthquake, a flood, tropical storm, avalanche or something, and I hope you weren't, but if you were, you probably used a generator to turn on the electricity or to keep the refrigeration going or to make sure you had fresh water, etc. Now, I wish this didn't happen to you, but it's happened to me multiple times, using a generator. Now, having said that, you don't want to ever have to use a generator unless you intentionally and deliberately go camping. Aside of that, if you use a generator, it's because you have to do it. You don't want to do it. And that's what the narcissist has to do. They have to turn inward and they have to use their own generator, which is their own supply, which is their own fuel, their own money, their own time. And they don't want to do that. The last thing on the planet the narcissist wants to do is use their own resources to help themselves out. They want to use everybody else's resources to help themselves out. That's why when you're with the narcissist, what do they love more than money? They love your money more than money. And when the money's gone, that's when the narcissist is gone. This is why no good deed goes unpunished when you're with these narcissists, because they care about themselves only. So going back to when the narcissist can't find supply, or they don't have supply, or there's a period of time when they can't find a viable source, they have to look inward to themselves. Now, when I say inward, I'm not saying introspect, anything but. That's the last thing I'm saying. So don't think I'm sharing that they're introspecting. They can't introspect if it depended on them saving their own lives. No, what they need to do, because they will experience a narcissistic injury of monumental proportion if they don't turn their own generator on when they don't have supply, they have to actually really do some work. Now, do they want to do that work? No. But does it give them supply to do the work? Yeah. It's twisted and sick and warped, but yes, it does. But eventually, even the narcissist only has so much energy. That's why they used your energy, because you had so much of it. And they didn't care about you, so they could use you up, chew you up, spit you out, wash, rinse, repeat. That's what they do, and that's what they did with me, and that's probably what they did with you. But when they have to turn their own generator on, it's because they don't have supply. And every day that generator's turned on, i.e. every day the narcissist is without supply, they are getting depleted themselves more and more and more. See, it's all coming full circle. If you've been with me for almost 6 years, you know that these videos not only offer value, provide insight and wisdom and personal experience, but they most likely have been a very big part on your healing journey, which is why you need to keep coming back and get your cup full, which is why you need to maintain your boundaries, maintain no contact. And that's why you are not supply any longer. But having said these things, going back to the thumbnail, when the narcissist has to turn that generator on, they know they're in hot water. And that has happened to them dozens, maybe even hundreds of times before you knew anything about this. Why you didn't know about it? It's because they didn't want you to know that they're a human being. They didn't want you to know that they had vulnerabilities. They didn't want you to know that they're riddled with anxiety. They didn't want you to know that they're afraid of their own shadow. And yes, they are. You may think they're not. They are. They're afraid to go to bed at night. Why do you think the narcissist doesn't sleep that often? It's because they don't want to go to bed, because they may not wake up and they may end up in a place which is not a good place, pitch black. Get my point? This is all tying together with you now. So before I get ready to close the video, I'll close it in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll share this with you. What the narcissist does without supply, they panic. They don't know what to do. Remember, I shared with you earlier that you regulated the narcissist. What is regulation? Regulation, I've shared it a lot recently in videos. It's when you can calm them down. You can be there for them. You can be the voice of reason. You can share that everything will be okay, that it's not the end of the world, etc. When they don't have that person or those people, they don't know what to do. And this is when the walls begin caving in on the narcissist. This is when the fun and games are no longer just that. This is when no one's picking up the phone or answering their texts or calling them. This is when everybody, and I mean everybody, has gotten the message and closed the chapter of the book on the narcissist once and for all. You see, I've done my part. I did it years ago. You probably have done your part. If you haven't, you will very soon, which is go no contact and block that person. Stop giving them fuel. Stop giving them information. Stop giving them access. Stop giving them money or time. And stop telling them what to do, meaning how to fix their life. Or if you'd only do this, this, and this, you could be a better person. Spend some time with your kids once a year. Actually go out and reach out to your brother or sister who you haven't talked to in 20 years. But see, the narcissist won't do any of that. And you just saw right there how I raised my voice. I sat up a little bit. That's the enthusiasm and the exuberation and the positive energy and the empathy that I possess. And that's only one fraction of the ability that I have. You probably have the same techniques, or the same abilities, I should say, not techniques, the same DNA. Maybe you do, I don't know. But what I can tell you is if you do have what I have, the narcissist used it. They chewed it up, they spit it out, and they never thought you would exist. They didn't care. They cut their nose off to spite their face because they didn't think you would heal. They didn't think you would live. They didn't think you would make it back. They didn't think you would put yourself back together. They didn't think you'd see behind the mask, if I didn't say that. But all those things go by the wayside once you realize that that person you're considering, the narcissist, they didn't care about you. They will have to use that generator more and more and more, especially as they get older and older and older. Because why? Say it with me. I know it's been a little while. Because all of these people, the narcissists that is, as they age, they all become what? 3, 2, 1. That's right. They become the aging narcissist, which is not a pretty sight to see. That's why they have to use the generator. And that's why eventually it's lights out, checkmate, game over. You win. The narcissist is gone forever, and they won't have a viable source of supply, not only from you or from me, but from the other 8.3 billion people on the planet. You see, more and more people are becoming awakened and aware, educated, and empowered, and more people are realizing they don't have to entertain toxicity. They don't want to be anywhere near it. That it is so much more peaceful and abundant where I am right now in the Carolina woods. Listen, this is called living. What isn't living is what I did a moment ago, trying to steer the narcissist. Hey, just talk to your kids once in a while. They want to hear from you. Or hey, just talk to your brother or sister. They want to hear. It falls upon deaf ears. That's why when you kept on fixing or trying to fix every bit of the narcissist or put out the fires that they were starting intentionally and on purpose, you couldn't do it because they didn't care. And they care about nobody. The only thing they care about is themselves and what they do on this planet called Earth for that one day of their life. And then tomorrow when they wake up, if they do, they'll think about destroying other people's lives and on and on and on. The narcissist only thinks about themselves. And what the narcissist does without supply, they have to turn that generator on. And I will tell you one thing, there is no way you've heard that before. You couldn't have. Not only am I free-flowing in the Carolina woods as usual, but more and more wisdom is flowing through me. And I will share each and every nugget as it bubbles up through me into you on these videos, because you need to get the message loud and clear. Going no contact will save your life. Is it the answer? No. Is it one of the key components? Yes. So you need to get the message. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You're not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. And I may have already said the ending of the video. If I did, I apologize. I'm really in the zone here. I just want to share this with you. You need to understand the narcissist used you for anything they possibly could get from you. Time, money, energy, intimacy, or sex, whatever you want to call it, access, using you as a beard, B-E-A-R-D, to blend into the society of the world. They used you any way they possibly could. And that's not even counting your empathy, your love, your ideas, your mindset, your status, if you will, everything about you. They never cared about you as a human being. They cared about what you did for them. So eventually, when we all go no contact, because that's what's happening, we close the chapter of the book on these people, the narcissist will have to use that generator that's by now probably 10, 20, 30, 80 years old, and it's sitting there all rusted out, and they don't even have an outlet to plug it into. Why? Because no one's paying their electricity bill. And guess what? The narcissist will get what is coming to them. They will get what they deserve, and they will get the boomerang effect, that is, at what goes around comes around. They will get their day, and it won't be in the sun. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.